Hi, I'm Duncan Moss, and I'd like to welcome you to my video blog that is reviewing uh, the album Jude by Julian Lennon. The album has been out for about 6 months, so you're wondering why I'm probably taking so long. Well, I'm not the fastest person off the mark at the best of times, but also the fact that I ordered the CD. It came from Julian's website, and it was faulty, and that they were very, very helpful in me getting a replacement. But it did take a bit of time, and also the fact that I've got a few other issues. So it's taken a bit of a while to. I also wanted to play the album many times so that I got a good feel for the work before I commented on it. And I've been an admirer of Julian's since his first hit, which I think was Too Late for Goodbyes in 1984, and then the follow-up, which are Valote, from the album Valote. They were both from the same album, and that was very good. I think they were both top 10 hits in the UK. And the videos for both these early records were directed by the legendary film director Sam Peckinpah. He of The Wild Bunch, A Major Dundee, and Bring Me the Head of Alfredo Garcia, and Straw Dogs, all great family movies in their own right. And just very sadly, Sam Peckinpah, who had just made a comeback after a few years being away with the Osterman weekend, he received a phone call from Julian, I think it was Julian Lennon's manager, thanking him for helping directing Julian's the first two videos. And he said Julian's career has really taken off. And that was a nice thing to hear, because I think very soon after that, Sam Peckinpah died, sadly. And Julian has released, I think it is, 7 albums over a period of about 39 years. He has other interests. He's a filmmaker, and he writes children's stories. And the Saltwater would be his next hit, which was about 7 years later. I think that was his next really big hit, which was a lovely hit, and that was 1991. It was a very very moving song about the sadness of the earth and starving people, and I think that's an issue that is very much part of close to Julian's heart. And well, he then did a very good single called Day After Day, which was a song he'd written, and had a accompanying track on the CD single, Don't Let Me Down. Of course, his dad, John, wrote a song called Don't Let Me Down. This isn't a cover version. This is just a brand new song, but called Don't Let Me Down, as indeed Day After Day is not a cover of the Badfinger single and hit, but it's just a brand new song called Day After Day. And I know that Julian is a massive Badfinger fan, because he did backing vocals on the Joey Malone solo album, which came out a few years ago. Well, without any more ado, this is the album, Jude, with a photograph of Julian when he must have been about 8 or 9, taken by May Pang, who was the lady that accompanied John on his lost weekend. She worked for Yoko Ono, and Yoko felt that she would take good care of John, and I believe she did just that. And well, what about the music from the album? I did actually buy the vinyl version as well, because how am I supposed to read that? It's so small. It's on the CD. So I can read the flipping name of the tracks. But it's exactly the same. It's got the gatefold. There were Julian relaxing, and the first song is Save Me. It opens with a fine piano intro, and Julian's prominent vocal establishes itself immediately. The song it's very up tempo, but also it's loaded with humility, and Julian's vocal range shows that it's a very fine vocal range, just like his dad's. The second song is called Freedom. It's a slow, plodding song, but it's beautifully produced, and it's just a quieter track after the up tempo first track. Lyrics: you gave me freedom. I know your love is freedom. You gave me freedom. It's a song of thanks, almost like a song of thanksgiving. We've then got number 3. We've got the very up tempo "Every Little Moment," which is one of my favourite tracks from the album. It's jubilant, but it's also fraught at the same time. Can't you see the war is over? The song it's a plea for a peaceful world, but now that the war is over. But it's also saying that the only way that we can keep total peace is by courage and resilience. So it's like we're not out of the woods yet. Track number 4, Not One Night. It's a bit quieter, but with its own power. A lively acoustic guitar with electric guitar, and a nice use of orchestra, which I understand is the Bulgarian Symphony Orchestra. And so the whole album is beautifully produced. Number 5, track number 5, Love Don't Let Me Down. Again, a very prominent acoustic guitar with a strong tempo and vocal from Julian. The acoustics a bit more lively than on the previous track, but the musicianship right through the album is just superb. Track number 6, Round and Round Again. I think this is my favourite track. He said, I've had enough of sadness and tears, running helpless, just killing time while you go round and round again. It's full of frustration, and a desire to get out of some sort of mental straitjacket with the person that he loves. Just a very, very dramatic song. And yeah, I think it's my favourite song on the album. Track number 7, Love Never Dies. Again, I'll be the wind that dries your tears. I'll be the whisper in your dreams. Very much this. I want to come to your rescue. And it just highlights what a caring guy Julian is, and also how vulnerable. A lot of the tracks, Julian's not afraid to show his vulnerability. Perhaps in 1984 that wouldn't have been the case, because 40 years ago, people, particularly men, were much more kept their cards much closer to the chest. But again, a lovely track. Track number 8, Breathe. Again, it talks about being broken and this idea that we've all been sold down the river. Deliver us. I want to wait. I want to breathe so I can spread our wings. Again, it's talking about escape routes. And track number 9, The Lucky Ones. Again, very strong lyrics. I feel a change is coming. A new revolution is knocking my door. I know we are the lucky ones. Again, a revolution, but not necessarily a revolution with violence, but maybe just a revolution. Revolution means change. Then we've got Stay. It's a slow piano with the song builds gradually. Every time you run away, I'll be behind you. Again, this I'm watching over you that comes with Julian's songs. And then we have 11, a song that's very different from any of the other tracks, called Gala. And it features vocal from, I think it's Paul Buchanan and Elisa Lauper. I think it's pronounced Lauper. Sorry if I pronounced it wrong. French dialogue throughout the song. Piano and orchestra go right through. I think Paul, as well as talking with Lisa, he sings as well, I think. I don't think that's Julian singing. Take Me to the Promised Land. I think Julian does a little bit of vocal there. The song has... Some people don't like it. I do like it. I think you have to give it a chance. It is at least different from the other tracks, and that's the last track on the album. Basically, I think it's a lovely album. It asks lots of questions about the world and the world that's in trouble. It's Julian's first record for 9 years, I understand. And, well, on the next album, Julian, we want you to come up with the answers to all the problems that you've outlined in this album. No, I'm only joking. Mate. And Julian has a very generous array of credits down the album. All the people who are involved with the album, promotion, hairdressing, whatever. A very like the cast of and crew of a film, and all the guest musicians and everything. Most of the songs are co-written with other people. This time, I wonder whether Julian's providing the melody and the lyrics are from other people. That I don't know. But it's a magnificent album. It's well worth getting. And of course, Jude, the album's called Jude because Paul McCartney wrote Hey Jude about Julian because when his parents are splitting up in the late 60s, John and Cynthia Lennon, Julian's parents, Paul McCartney felt sorry for him, for Julian, and wrote the song was originally Hey Julian, then Hey Jules, and then Hey Jude. But Julian was the inspiration for the song, and it's lovely, I think, when they can go back to the past and work, and some magic can be done today from the past. I've never had the privilege of meeting Julian. So I know very little about his personal life or his religious beliefs or anything, and that's none of my business. But I have heard that he is a very, very nice man with time for everybody. And I think he's done. I think his parents, John and Cynthia, both sadly no longer with us, must be very, very proud of him indeed. And I even remember a time in I think it was the mid-80s when Julian was interviewed on a local radio station by his mum, Cynthia, who actually worked for the station, and she ended up interviewing him, which I think is rather nice. And, well, I wish him all the success. I understand that he's happier than he's ever been before in life. Well, that's great. And I wish him all the best and many, many successful projects for the future. And I hope you've enjoyed the review. And if you want to click like and sign up to my YouTube blog, that would be lovely. Anyway, you take care, everybody. God bless.